stunning. Oh yeah, we're going there. Welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been here before, get your oven mitts and protective eye gear out, because we're deep frying a turkey, roasting the big boys today. I know what you're saying. Say, Jack, you're fantastic. And you're right, I am. Anyway, before we get started, I want you to sit down and put your feet up, get comfy, take a deep breath, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because YouTube has been purging subscribers.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge
From various accounts that have subscribers. So if you like my channel, if you are here on purpose, just take a second, make sure you're still subscribed. I curled my hair for you tonight. I think it's the least you could do. Just go ahead, I'll give you a sec. Perfect. Thank you so much. I would miss you so much if you were gone. Not you. The other one. I miss you so much. So much. Anyway, yeah, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Okay, let's do the video now. So today is actually going to be kind of an amalgamation of a few videos. Two that I wanted to make and then got sick and couldn't because I was sick. And then a third that turned out to be like a big nothing burger. And then another that was just released yesterday. So, confused? Good. Let's dive face first into this dumpster, shall we? Let's get started with the man, the myth, the racist, Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star, who is best known for having an alleged voice memo that he allegedly known for his race, known for never doing this again, known for his hideous taste in velvet gold couches, known for his cosmetics brand, the aptly named Jeffree Star Cosmetics, has recently purchased and moved to a ranch, a yak ranch in Wyoming? Is it Wyoming? Who cares? Let's just call it Wyoming. Now that in and of itself is, for lack of a better word, hilarious. Like, conceptually, the idea of Jeffree Star going from like a $5 bazillion mansion in like the hills of Calabasas with like 1,000 pinball machines and like 700 sports cars and luxury vehicles and a vault with like a bunch of Birkins in it to like a yak ranch. It fills me with the kind of joy that doesn't even permit me to emote. Just that silent, hilarious brain explosion. It's like a Disney movie, you know, where the rich kid moves to the ranch to learn about themselves and like, you know, all the things they were so out of touch with because they had so much fucking money they didn't even have to think about anything ever. You know, it's kind of like that. Anyway, when I was putting my Jeffree Star Yak Emporium video together, I assumed there was like a whole video featuring all the yaks and like their special talents and how he's gonna build this new yak empire. And I was sort of disappointed, I guess, to find out that there really kind of wasn't. So I went over to his Twitter, and I found it sort of difficult to gather information there. So I hopped on my sock account and got it that way, like a fucking adult. Pictures of yaks and yak-related things, yak makeup. Well, let's go through them one by one together right now. Let's look at all the things. Oh, look at Jeffree on that piece of machinery. That feels so absolutely natural. I've never seen anything that makes more sense in my entire life. Oh, look at this. Cuddling up to the yak. I'm not sure if that's dead or alive. Oh, it's a mama and her babies. Get real close. I bet yaks love that. Oh yeah, ride that yak. That seems, I don't think yaks are for riding. Are you supposed to ride yaks? What's going on? Nothing says, I own a yak ranch, quite like bright pink hair in my expensive ass tracksuit. I bet it costs more than my mortgage. That yak must feel pretty special. This is a farmersonly.com promotion. I don't know who this guy is, but I bet he's thrilled to be sitting next to this mannequin from Deadwood in South Dakota. What the fuck is going on here? This poor yak. He's like, bitch, leave me the fuck alone. I'm an animal and you're posing with me and this looks weird as hell. This looks like promotion for like the dumbest porno of all time. Yak Farm, Owl Eyes, Open Range, Casper Mountain, Wyoming, Star Creek, Old Jeff. That's what I'm calling you from now on. Grand Prismatic, Winter Wind. Okay. Sure. They're all colors. I don't know. I'm not a makeup person, obviously. A palette to me, I need like maybe 2 palettes. They all look the fucking same to me. I belong here. Everything about this is confusing. This is like, I feel like this is what we thought like space aliens looked like. This one's holding a yak and is wearing some kind of Louis Vuitton garbage bag. I don't understand what's going on there. The Conjuring for the Yak Ranch. What can I say? Boy sure got himself some fucking yaks, huh? Speaking of weird hairy creatures, old Jeff FaceTimed his BFF Shane Dawson in a very, very clickbaity video, driving his obnoxious ass self down to Nordstrom Rack, where his fans had been informing him they were selling he and Shane's makeup collection at a reduced price. And let me tell you, Jeremiah sauntered into that Nordstrom Rack like a $5 million horse into a $65 a month mobile home during a tornado. He bought up all of his own product that he could find. But don't worry. He's totally fine with all of those products being sold in a Nordstrom Rack. That's why he bought all of them, so that no one else could. Actually, his cameraman bought them all because he forgot his card, even though he's a multimillionaire with a phone that surely has Apple Pay.
Classy.
Anyway, some of the products were already opened and tampered with when he got home, but he managed to ruin all the rest of them by opening everything, rendering them completely useless to people who could have bought them for a lower price point because not everyone makes $400,000 a second. Then he totally randomly FaceTimed Shane to let him know what was going on, you know, and tell him all about his wacky adventures in the Nordstrom Rack. And then they had a jerk-off contest, talked about how they would see each other soon because it seems like there's some sort of collab going on there, which can't wait. Anyway, speaking of Shane Dawson, Shane was on his really annoying fiance Ryland Adams' podcast, The Sip, to talk about himself and his mental health and how it gets better or some shit. I can't stand Ryland. He annoys me. On the podcast, Shane kind of talked about his mental health a little bit, having OCD, his return to YouTube, which we'll get to in a second, and sort of just psychoanalyzed Ryland for like an hour.
We're really like being playful about like the most intense or dramatic parts of our relationship over an almost 6-year span.
You're not to diagnose you right now, or not diagnose, but you know what I mean. You're thinking way too much about what people are going to think about this.
Well, yeah, because you guys were all just laughing like hyenas about me saying something that now I was like, I genuinely asked, what am I canceled?
It sure was great. Well, wait, it does get better. Yesterday, YouTube's golden shower child decided to upload his first video back since being canceled or held accountable for his actions, if you're talking to an adult, back in June of 2020. My entire tweet timeline was filled with things like,
oh my god, Shane Dawson did not just upload a video. I can't believe Shane actually came back to the internet. Can you believe Shane Dawson had the wherewithal to muster up the gumption
To even consider putting up a new video blog on the interwebs?
and when I read those, I thought, really? Are you surprised? Because you see, my dear children, the internet is stupid. Cancellation means nothing. If it meant something, we would actually cancel people, and they would not have access to the internet anymore, at least social media platforms. Cancellation would serve to protect any alleged victims and any future alleged victims. It wouldn't exist purely to hold people accountable. What we need to do is find the delineation between canceling people and holding them actually accountable. First of all, what we need to do is teach people what the word accountability actually means. Because if I see the goddamn word in another title from another YouTuber, taking that word and running with it in an apology video, I'm gonna snap. See, cancellation in and of itself is an abstract concept. It doesn't mean anything. Accountability could be apologizing, acknowledging, learning, growing, and moving on. Unless they are in actual danger, in which case they need to be off the fucking internet. Before we look at the actual video itself, and we're only gonna hit the highlights because it was
Fucking boring as hell.
I think it's important to remember that there is no right and wrong when it comes to influencer apologies. The closest we've ever gotten to right is Jenna Marbles apologizing for the fishies. And honestly, in my opinion, her canceling herself, also a pretty perfect apology, as close as it can get, that is. Obviously, on the other side of the spectrum, some of the worst, whatever shit show Laura Lee put on that time, probably one of the lowest, right? Everything in between will either be accepted or face a great deal of criticism. You're never going to be able to please everyone with your apology. You're never going to be able to make everyone believe that you are truly sorry. And you're never going to be able to win everybody's trust and or forgiveness back. It's just impossible. Now we're going to put a pin in that concept because we're going to come back to it a little bit later, if I remember. Let's go.
2,000 bodies remain buried there?
Yes, and they walk around there at night.
Viewer discretion advised. All right, see you later. I'm just kidding. Wes Craven is dead, Shane. Can you please let him rest in peace? Please don't drag Wes Craven's good name into this. And Wes Craven made some fucked up movies. That piano bit would have been hilarious if you didn't like sully your credibility last year and like didn't owe a bunch of people a bunch of very public apologies.
I learned piano during my break. Kidding, I didn't learn anything. No, I learned a lot about myself.
It was in that year-long journey to discovering himself. There was one thing Shane Dawson did not discover. 'Twas a shower.
What are we doing?
Knockoff Andrew sucks. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but
Okay, what do I want to say? I feel like I have so much to say that I don't know where to start. Look at my new bling pumpkin.
I have to say one of my least favorite things about Shane Dawson videos in general, besides all the racist stuff and really inappropriate things about children, is that like in these moments that are supposed to be like intense or like you're supposed to be feeling something, he just takes like fucking 4 hours to get the point across or like to tell the story or like to get to the thing he was trying to say 10 minutes ago, you know? It's almost exhausting to watch. Like I know having scattered thoughts and like speaking candidly don't really go hand in hand because it does often come off that way, but like
Edit.
This is a sign in my new house. This was here when we went to the open house and I loved it, but I never actually read it. And then I actually read it and I was like, oh. It's just so cheesy, but it's cute, right? We say I'm sorry. Yes, we do. Don't worry, I'll get to that. We make mistakes. Yes, we do.
referring to children as sexy isn't a mistake. And also I would love to know if Will and Jada think pretending to jerk off to a then 11-year-old Willow was a mistake. Because that doesn't feel like a mistake, that feels like a choice. And before we go on, I want to kind of be clear that I feel like cancel culture is something that is very weird to me. I'm not against it, but I'm not going to drive the U-Haul with all the like canceled influencers in the back, you know, all the way to the cancel mart or whatever. You know what I mean? I've made a lot of like tasteless, ignorant jokes and choices in my life, in all 35 years of my life. You know, I've made inappropriate jokes. Things were a little different then, and I know that's I know nobody wants to hear that argument, and I'm not here to like go into like things were different. Like, no, people are often just ignorant or racist or you know what I mean? But the thing is that the acceptability, not approval, but acceptability, meaning like no gripes against it, no one pushing back against it. People were largely silent, for better or for worse. The social acceptability of that was there. You know, and I can speak for myself that, you know, the past 15 years or so have really sort of diminished my ignorance to things. And I wouldn't make jokes now that I would have made then, and not out of a fear of getting caught, out of a knowledge that I have now. So I'm very reticent to write someone off completely when a tasteless joke from 10-15 years ago comes up or what have you. I would rather look at the patterns I've seen of them since and see, okay, is this a problem? Have I been ignoring this? Is this something that, is this more of a deeper issue than I thought? And sort of surmise how I feel that way. But obviously, there are things that are inexcusable. And Shane has a long, storied past of these racist jokes, bits, blackface included, and the inappropriate stuff around and about minors. That's abhorrent to me. That's a whole other level, and that's... Some folks can separate the art from the artist, and in some cases I can too. But I can't on this one anymore. And to be honest, I'd only been familiar with Shane's content for about 5 years or so, up until his cancellation. And I used to really enjoy it, and that's a shame. It's a shame. A big old shame, Dawson.
I went to TikTok and literally, like, I loved it for a week, and then I got canceled and I couldn't go on it anymore because it was like every time I'd swipe, it would be like, ba-ba-da, and then I'd swipe up and it'd be like, Shane Dawson needs to kill himself, and I'm like, all right, well.
Oh, the perils of cancellation.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna post this. I don't quite know what I'm doing, but I know that currently I'm in a place where I really want to get creative again. I really want to make stuff again. I'm tired of just sitting around and waiting for some crazy idea to hit me. Before I get to that, I am in a really good place mentally. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I am emotionally. Nope, not gonna say physically. No, I'm trying. I'm in a place now where it's been a very, oh my god, the sun's coming out. I wish I cared about that. I definitely feel ashamed and embarrassed and horrified over a lot of the stuff that started, old clips and stuff that started coming out. It's weird, because if I talk about it how I really feel, people are gonna say, oh, you're trying to get sympathy or whatever. So I like don't want to talk about it. I feel like people are just gonna hate me no matter what, and I kind of just have to accept it. And then there's gonna be people who appreciate what I do, and then there's gonna be people who are gonna say I died, and then people are gonna believe it. And then this is an angel that my friend got me when my cat passed away. What happened in the last year and a half? Oh my god.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. God.
You almost took a cat from Mexico too.
I did almost get a cat in Mexico. I've had a year. Sorry, it's hard. I can't not laugh at it.
I can't imagine it's easy to address these things. You know what I mean? I can't imagine it's easy to sit here and talk about the dumb fucking shit you've done. But a lot of what Shane says is, and I'm gonna get to this in a minute too, but like a lot of it is so feel bad for me feeling like, please, you know, oh God, this has been so hard on me, which I'm sure it has. But like, this isn't the time for you to garner sympathy, whether it's purposeful or not. This is a time where you're atoning and perhaps being sorry. And maybe not making how difficult this was on you the focal point of talking about the situation. Why does Andrew 2.0's voice sound like the way they portray Canadians on Family Guy?
You doing alright, Shane?
No.
Can I go out through here? Just be back by bedtime. Okay.
Part of the house. Well, this is the real living room. This is my wife.
Oh God, not Ryland.
I'm watching Emma Chamberlain get ready for the Met Gala. Filled with jealousy that I'm not Emma Chamberlain.
No, not Ryland. No, please.
Show you. Look, he's still here. He didn't leave me.
It's so glamorous.
My doctor said I should stop exposing myself to things I find absolutely fucking annoying.
I'm very, very, very disconnected from the person that I was in my early 20s. It makes me feel really sad and sick to my stomach. I feel like I grew as a person. I feel like I learned a lot. I made so much growth, and now I'm being canceled over things from the past. And that's not me anymore. I really face everything head on and realize that that was me and that is me. But I can learn from it. I can't focus on what other people think of me. And yeah, there was bad stuff in those videos, but like the good stuff connected with people. And I can't just throw that away. That's weird. I don't want my whole life to just be me talking about this, which is why I haven't talked about it in the last year and a half. I wasn't ready to, but also I don't want that to just be the thing I'm constantly bringing up.
You don't want to make it the thing that you always are talking about. Got it, got it, got it. Nothing says, I'm sorry, I fucked up. Like, I really don't want to have to keep talking about this. Noted. The empath strikes back. And again, I'm hearing a lot of I statements. I made inappropriate jokes and visual jokes about and toward children. I literally did blackface. I called a 6-year-old sexy and justified. Yeah. These are things, those are the I statements that we should be hearing. Hearing about your mental state is all well and good, but like maybe address the specifics of your cancellation first, you know? I understand you gotta jump back in at some point because God forbid you don't.
I'm so grateful to have the chance to do more things in my life, and I'm so excited.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that hard to pronounce.
What do you say, Grandma?
I'm happy that he's going to be doing this.
Aww. Aww.
That's so nice, thank you. I hope I don't die.
Yeah.
We stan Ryland and Morgan's grandma though. Like, she is everything.
I'm so sorry.
Every time!
But while he's in a gay relationship, I just say it's gay. I mean, I
don't know. I just love it here. It just makes me so happy. Oh, okay. Well, we'll go to my office because I have some things I want to show you in there. But also, look! Oh my God! It's so cute out there. Well, we'll go out there later. But I got a paddle boat.
Oh my God! I beg of you, great value, Andrew. Please work on your Zoom skills. You're giving my astigmatism an astigmatism.
As I said, at my last house, there was an entity. So I lay down and I feel a hand on my neck. At my house before that, there's an entity. And I know what you're thinking. Shane, you're making all this up. No, they follow me. So this is my basement, which I've never had a basement before. It's really scary. It's so fucking scary. So here's my basement. It's like something is stepping on you. Right? Like, is your chest like being pressed?
I'm just scared.
This isn't a predictable documentary about Shane Yaw, a young filmmaker and internet creator who had a very dark past, made bad choices, and is now on maybe a road to redemption on account of all the hard work he put into himself and his behaviors, personal growth, education, a willingness to listen and learn.
So I heard about a place from someone I met at a coffee shop, and they were like, oh my God, are you gonna do a video on this place? And I was like, oh, I've never heard of that before. I'm like, oh, I don't wanna give it away, just like go. So I asked Morgan, I was like, have you heard of this? And she was like, it's really fucked up.
It's a 3-part series about Shane Dawson ghost hunting again in an effort to feel more inspired to create content without taking any real accountability for his actions. Got it.
What happened?
Your mom's house was
What?
built.
Oh, I don't know.
Are you serious? Did you?
Yeah.
You really? I was gonna ask you about that like 2 hours ago, but I was like, I don't know if it's a sensitive subject.
I don't know. I probably paid
You don't
it.
know what that is?
No.
It just happened.
Wait, stop. You're scaring me so much.
Are you serious?
That?
What?
Whoa there, store brand Andrew. What happened?
Now I will say, driving around in this car, it's pretty embarrassing. I don't know. Everybody thinks Hillary Duff came to town.
I wish I was Hillary.
Yeah, we all know. You'll never be Hillary Duff.
Sometimes there's food trucks right here.
Good story.
That looks very natural.
Okay, like he's the only person that doesn't get like wet from a sunset.
Ryland is so fucking annoying. I know I said I would make that video where like I was just like reacting to Ryland being annoying, and I never made it, but that's just because Ryland is so annoying. I don't know that I can do it. Well, gee, Shane, what can we expect in the next 2 parts?
Yeah, the hills are like very haunted. Oh, we are not even like halfway there. Wait a sec, you're telling me this guy's walking around right there?
Well, somebody took that picture.
2,000 bodies remain buried there?
Yes, and they walk around there at night.
Like we kind of peace. Back to his home, and his wife and his 2 children have been killed and scalped there.
My heart is racing. That stairs.
It's because people go out there looking for trouble. People go out there looking for trouble, which is why I stopped going there.
Oh my god, their door is open. Oh my god, I'm scared.
And since like the 1980s, there's been 20 plus deaths out there.
Wait, is that one that's supposed to go?
No, I won't.
That looks like the brand people there.
Honestly, do you hear anything? You heard that?
The way you said that was so scary.
Wow, this season of Ghost Adventures looks so good. Well, this is frankly just more of the same. Like I said before, I'm no advocate for cancel culture proper, but like this cycle feels incomplete. And I think your consequences or your cancellation should be on par with what you are being canceled for your crimes or whatever, metaphorically speaking, or actually speaking. At the risk of sounding like an uppity bitch, this doesn't feel like enough. I don't know, all of his apologies anytime he's talked about it, it feels like it's coming from a place of frustration from having to talk about it, from having to address it. The reality is, love him or hate him, there's a lot of really racist and disgusting things in Shane Dawson's past and his past content, and specifically in his dialogue regarding children. And unfortunately for me, that crosses a line written with indelible marker. Like I can't go back to watching somebody who thinks about and talks about children that way. And yes, some of his jokes would fly then that wouldn't fly now. I don't think that's justification for keeping any of it up. I don't think saying parts of what these awful, some of my content was awful, but parts of that awful content were meaningful to people, so I'm leaving it up. I don't think that's the answer. Even Jenna Marbles, and I know I've used her as an example twice, and Jenna is kind of like she's kind of like the good guidebook for how to handle things, right? And Jenna Marbles pulled down millions of views from her channel. She pulled down countless videos that had a remote amount of offendability, if you will, something offensive, something that people could find offensive. And you may say that that's taking it too far, but what I think the message that Jenna always said and what she wanted to get across, especially in her last video that she made, was that she doesn't want to make anything that makes anyone feel bad. And that is a good rule to live by. I don't care if something in someone's content, like in the depths of something horrible and disgusting and racist and just god awful, if there's something in there that makes someone happy, great. But like the mass amount of people who are telling you this is wrong and this is disgusting, maybe try listening to them a little bit more. And like I said, some jokes would fly then that wouldn't fly now. That's one thing. But we're not looking at that. We're looking at a pattern of behavior. We're looking at repeated jokes of that nature. And some of them weren't even jokes. I've linked a Twitter thread below if you need a reference point for some of these things. I don't want them in my video. I don't want to put them here. I'm sorry, I know that's kind of inconvenient and it makes the legwork a bit more for you. But it's leg day, so, you know, toughen up. Anyway, as predicted, a very calculated return by Shane Dawson. And I say calculated because he started with Instagram, peeking in here and there on posts and slowly edging his way in. And then it went to being in Ryland's vlogs here and there. Then being a guest on the SIP, the FaceTime with the Yak King, and now here we are. This video is 2 million views deep already. And frankly, if there's one thing that Shane Dawson has, it's the fucking audacity. So those are my feelings. I know some people are going to be very angry at this video. I know that Shane and Jeffree both have a lot of hardcore stans, and excuse me, I'm talking. I would implore you, before you leave me a nasty comment, to really, really think about what you are defending. I'm not trying to take away from you liking Shane or Jeffree or even Ryland if you have it in you. But I do think, be careful what you're defending. I have never gone out of my way to call Shane Dawson the P word, and I never will. I don't think that that is appropriate. I don't think that's for me to say. I don't think that's for me to guess. I don't even want to think about things like that. But I do think that a lot of what he has done and said is incredibly inappropriate in that exact area. And I don't think that's something that's defensible. Even if you remain a fan, even if you still enjoy his content, you know, be careful, just mind what you're defending about the influencers that you love, you know, because like, yikes. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. I know it will have several dislikes because I know the Shane Dawson stans are going to come here. And that's okay. You're welcome here too, even though we disagree. Isn't that cool? That's called being a grown-up. Nailed it. Subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. We do a live here every Friday night. I'm actually getting ready to go do one right now, but you won't know that because this isn't going to be up before that. Foolish people. My Patreon, my social media, all linked down below. Please feel free to come hang out. Just don't be an asshole. Again, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. If you're not if you were subscribed, just make sure you're subscribed because I would miss you if you went. We already went through this. I'm not going to do that again. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.